What I think about Holland? Well, I was in Holland for only like 6 days. I rode my bike across it. What do I think about Holland is um, I love the music. The music in Holland. Holland to me is like my favorite country I've ever been to. Like I love that place so much I want to live there, dude. Like I want to move there just to be a bartender, get a job as a bartender or something. Be like the American bartender or some kind of job. I mean, I know I couldn't work there legally. I go there with a bunch of money and just live in the bushes and see if I get a job, just to experience Holland. Cause like it's just like the music was so good. They love Tina Turner. Like every other song that they played when I was there was Tina Turner, and they love American music. And seem to like their language is like half English. Like I could almost understand half of what they were saying because half the phrases would be in English. And they have a really cool sounding language, like really strong R's and I don't know. I mean, that's just like kind of like I'd love to hear it. Like girls talking in that Dutch accent would just be hot as fuck. Remember, I saw a Ali G episode where Ali G scares the shit out of this Hollish girl, Hollish Dutch girl, and she like ditches him, but she's so hot and she sounded so sexy. Um, but that was like the first country I went to where they didn't speak English, and I was a little bit like worried, like how am I going to communicate? And I found that they spoke English enough. Like not everybody spoke English, but they spoke English enough, and they were friendly. They were friendly to me. I had no complaints about. Dutch people were totally nice to me. They weren't like totally bouncing off the walls, like trying to hang out with me like they are in third world countries, but they were totally friendly. They seemed totally cool. Um, like I went to Rotterdam and I was in the asking around for the weed where I could get the weed at the weed bar. I saw some old lady and she's like, "Oh yeah, weed bar over there." Like it was nothing, you know. So that was cool. Um, and then they have like this mayonnaise. They mix their. You can get French fries and they give you the French fries with mayonnaise, but it's like really good mayonnaise and like it tasted really good. Like I liked it. I wasn't missing ketchup at all. I was like liking it more than the ketchup. It was great. And of course the bike paths. If you go to Holland and you're bike touring, if you're a bike tourist, Holland will be a completely different experience from any other country because the bike paths get you everywhere. And you're not even allowed to ride on the road because the bike paths are everywhere. Although it'll take you longer to get from A to B in Holland because the bike paths are always like turning and S-ing and like they don't go in a straight line. And I was stoned off my ass the whole time I was there. I was actually smoking in public, and then I found out later it's illegal to do that. But so I was always getting lost. Like, where the hell is the trail? Going around and say, oh, there it is, you know. And then, but the trail's always like apart. It's like on its own. You know, a lot of times it's right next to the road, but a lot of times it's in its own area. Sometimes in the middle of a field. So it's awesome to ride. It was on the top of the aqueduct of the canal, the bike path, which was so you're overlooking, you're like eye level over the tops of everybody's houses, looking down. So it's a great view, and then you can see people's houses. Like they have like all these kinds of um, uh, animals, like on the highway. Like, you know, like if you have like a highway and then the exit ramp of the highway and then the neighborhood, in the grass between the exit ramp and the highway, like in America or any other country, you just have grass. They have a herd of sheep. Like they use every single square meter of their land. It's so awesome. And like normal people would have like all kinds of animals. They'd have Bambi, you know, they'd have like the deer, they'd have chickens and dogs and roosters and, you know, cats, and like in a normal townhouse person's backyard right next to the bike path. You know, like all these people, I don't know what they're doing with it, but they love their animals. And they also love soccer. Like everywhere you look, there's like millions of people playing soccer. Um, and there's lots of like people, lots of old people riding bikes, but they're riding like 3-speed bikes, you know, like all lollygagging it, and in their clothes, like taking it easy. It's like going back in time. Like if you can imagine people riding their bikes around 100 years ago. And there's like tons of old people riding bikes. Like it's the pastime. Like when you're younger, the pastime for the country is playing soccer, and then you get older and it's riding your bike. It's really cool. Like everything about that country I was fucking thought was awesome. And there were like fields of corn right in the middle of a city. I camped out in the middle of a city in a field of corn. And you don't have that in another country. And yeah, some people called out to me like, "Ah!" Like they were drinking. I guess they knew I was American just by looking at me. Which I guess, sometimes you can tell if somebody's an American or from the country just by looking at them. Look at just, small things. But that's what I think about Holland. I definitely want to go back there. That's like I want to go to Amsterdam. I heard other reviews from Amsterdam, though. It's like a bunch of wastoids there, but I'd love to go to Amsterdam and be a wastoid. That would be awesome. Okay, so that's what I think about Holland.